Can you give us an example of when you've seen engagement done well in startups? Take your time.
Never. I never seen it. It doesn't.
Welcome to the Masks Off podcast, Leadership Strategies, No Disguises. I'm Razwana Waheed, and together with my co-host Olivier Larvor, we talk to the smartest people in the world of leadership, change and psychology to give leaders real strategies to bring human back to the workplace.
If you would like to support our show, please subscribe to our channel, like us, or share this episode on your social media.
In this episode, we talk to Marta Emerson, innovation expert and startup mentor, on what corporate businesses can learn from startups on engaging and retaining their employees.
Because we're a leadership podcast, we talk about leadership and bringing human back into the workplace. So effectively treating our people like people as opposed to robots and machines. You've come from the startup world mainly. So talk to us about how leadership is different in startups as opposed to larger corporate businesses.
A lot of corporates are now incorporating a lot of startup-y thing, so I think that there's a lot of changes going on. One of the things that I see and I recognize, as something very startup-y could be, really recognizing the value of the people that works for you and really train them and listen to them. And the number one thing that is more important, the people need to know exactly what they have to do and how they have to do it. And if they have issues on how to do those things, they have to be able to have those answers, because sometimes we just expect people to know what they have to do or to do what they're supposed to do, but they know what that is. It's motivation. People really want to get motivated. They want to do, their job because it's something that really fills them up, and they want to be proud of belonging to something, belonging to that brand. So I think it's important to know exactly what our brand is, to inform and educate, our employees about, our values. Everything starts with hiring the right people, the people that actually really connects with our values and connects with all these things. And I think that that's the key of the success.
You just mentioned values and motivation and know what we have to do. Somehow, for me, startups means something else. It means like a very quick world. We have to do things. We have to use gadgets and application and software, and we have to code. We have to develop, and we have to do. When you mention values and motivation, all this kind of stuff, do they have time to do that? Do they have time to explain the values? Do they have time to motivate the people? Do they do that in startups?
Well, we have to have time for this. Obviously, we have to do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, we're hiring people. And sometimes we're hiring, we're going to hire the best people so they know what to do and they will tell us what to do, Yeah. That's like the quote that you would always hear. But at the end of the day, finding these type of people is so rare, is so difficult because obviously, these people are already, creating their own businesses, and because they already know what to do and they have solutions for everything. The reality is that even if our employees are really, really good and they're very efficient at what they do, they need some guidance. They need to know that they belong somewhere. They need to love what they do. They need to love the company that they work for. And in order to love your company, this company needs to represent something. It needs to represent some values. It needs to mean something to me. Even if we have a startup, we do have to make some time to engage with these people. Maybe on a startup wall, because we don't have that much, team, to create the brand awareness and all that stuff. Maybe, you need a CEO that is able to sit down with his people and talk to them and engage with them on daily basis. And they need to really create this kind of team, that they really help each other and they understand that they're part of something. People want to belong to something, otherwise you get people that are not motivated and they don't want to do, just their job. This is why it's so difficult to keep talent, because good people, like really good talent, they will go away so fast because there's a lot of companies, a lot of opportunities out there that they pay a lot of good money, in so many different countries. So obviously, if you find good talent, you better work to keep it, because it's difficult to get good people. It's extremely difficult.
When I'm looking at the founders of companies, they start the company based on this product or service they've been really passionate about. They want to get that product or service out into the world. But as their business grows and as their teams grow, I guess their responsibilities change because they move away from being this person that's passionate only about the product or service, and they have to start looking at people management. So in your experience, what are the biggest challenges that founders have when it comes to managing and leading people? What else do you think have you seen have been challenges they face?
It's actually very difficult when you have like this little company and then this company start growing and you have to hire 20 people a month. It's a huge mess. It's a huge mess because there's one big danger is that you're not ready to onboard 20 people a month. And what does it mean? It means that you've not spent the time to develop this process so that people, when they get on board, they get, welcome. They understand, what the company does, they understand what they have to do. They understand where they fit in, they understand, where are we going, and they have, proper processes. They have a lot of things, because the worst thing that you can have is you can hire someone and they don't know what to do, and you lose them for the first 1 or 2 weeks because everything is a mess, and I've seen that so many times and I've been there, so you hire so many people, you don't have time for them, you just hire them, but you don't have time for them. And then, what happens is that these people are there in the company for, 1-2 weeks without really they don't know what they're doing, they kind of, looking around, trying to understand on their own. And now it's when they lose motivation. They disengage completely of the company and you lost them. You lost them forever. Now, I would advise, just fire them. Seriously. I know it is very tough to say that, but a person that has never connected with the company, that now, you completely lost them. It's very difficult now that they get engaged, with the company. And now, because they got the routine, that they get to the company, they don't really know what to do. They sit down there, they talk with people, they're just doing stuff, but they don't have clear objectives. They don't have their daily basis objectives, what they have to do. Nobody has set them goals, specific things for them, so now they're used to that, now they identify the company on, going there and just, figuring out, and now when you try and sit down to them and say, hey, these are now your goals, it's difficult for them to now make a change, because now, you can set all these things, 2-3 weeks after you hire them. You have to be ready to get them on board, to get them engaged from day one. Otherwise, you lose them. And it is very sad because, first of all, because you don't want to play with people's career. If you hire someone, you have responsibility for sure to make sure this person has a real chance to succeed in your company. Otherwise, don't hire them, otherwise just wait until you're ready. So I think that the issue number one is that people don't have, these processes, onboarding processes in place, because things happen so fast. Now you get the money, now you get the 20 million, 50 million, and now you have to hire all these people. You don't know where you're going, what these people are going to do, etc., etc.
When I picture a startup, it's a bunch of young kids or young people, not kids, I would say. I'm an old adult, I guess. Young people, so motivated, so driven. We want to do this, we want to do this. You just said that, because of this disorganization, people get disengaged, just like traditional organization. The only thing that you mentioned, I was just you need to fire them. This is what you said. You need to fire them if they are disengaged. You would go as far as that?
Hopefully you never get to that point, right. But if you've got a chunk of people, that they don't know what to do, that they find themselves without process, without orientation, without goals, without anything. But the reality is that some of these people are going to start to be a little bit like, we say that in Spanish, like the bad apple. And it creates a very bad environment. If that happens, it's just my advice, my opinion, is to fire very quickly. If someone is starting, they get disencouraged because they don't know what to do, everything is a mess, the company is not well organized, they feel that this is not serious, this is not professional, they didn't expect this. They will start talking, with other people, and you create a bad environment. If you make that huge mistake of hiring people without having a system in place, to having process in place, yes, maybe sometimes you have to fire very quickly, and then, rethink things, organize what you have to organize and then hire people again. Obviously, you can try with some of the people that you can see that they still engage and that they still can do it and everything. You have to, analyze who they are and then, set goals from there, talk to them, analyze the situation, explain them that you are studying, but you're going to be, a professional company and everything is going to be in place. And you can identify people that is going to stay and that they're going to be serious with the company, and you identify people that they're not, that they're complaining and that they will be, in a negative aspect of all this, and definitely I would say just fire these people. It is your mistake. It is your mistake because you were not organized and you did not prepare, things. But at the end of the day, it is also your company and you have to, protect it as much as possible. So despite that it's your mistake, sometimes you have to fire people. Obviously, it's not all the cases. Not everybody understands here, please, all the audience, that I'm advising to start fighting everyone, but I'm saying that in some cases, yeah, you do have to, and you have to do it very quickly. I actually find myself in some of these positions where some part of the team, they were very negative and it was all, creating a bad environment. There's no other solution because I've tried myself and I've tried to rebuild that situation. And the only thing you're doing is having more time of negativity, in the company. And sometimes you even cannot save it.
Yeah, I was speaking to a lady here in Barcelona a few weeks ago, and she is a CEO of a couple of companies, and she said exactly the same thing. So her businesses are going through quite a big growth period where they have just had investment and they are recruiting new people. And she's found that some of the people that were there at the beginning are now no longer bought into the vision of the company. They wanted it to stay small. They don't like to see it growing. And so they do influence people around them. And, at the end of the day, yes, we're employing people, but she said we are in a business. And the business will suffer if people that are spreading negative press about us are still here. And so it affects the new people joining as well. And so she had exactly the same attitude, which is you need to have that conversation.
I don't know how we came, we started with leadership podcast and now we're talking about firing employees at the same time. And to be honest, I'm not very comfortable with that. You put so much effort to hiring the best talents, as you mentioned. So the recruitment process is key for any company at the moment. So I don't know how many interview rounds you have, like 5, 6, to make sure you have the best guy, right? And the best guy comes to your company, and then you don't have a process in place, you don't have it because it's startups and everything goes so fast and so quickly. And I think it's normal that the guy just lose a little bit of his motivation and will to perform. I would take this as a signal to the company and to the leader and to the CEO and to say, look, there's something wrong in your company and you're not engaging these people. I guess you can fire these people, but the same thing will happen, over again and again and again if you don't fix that. Yes, you can fire people if they have really don't want to work and have a negative attitude and damage the company. But at the same time, I would say that if you're a true leader, you can still make them go back to the vision that they still have and make them dream again. That's my kind of very optimistic guy, very positive person that I am. Firing is the very, very the last resort that you will get, and you try whatever you can to go back and use every feedback from this person to create something bigger and better. Okay.
I think that we're on the same page here because that's more or less what I said on the sense that obviously it's the company's fault if you have to fire people because you were not ready to hire them. Now they think that you're not professional and they start they lose engagement, they lose motivation, they lose the routine, and they don't want to go back to it. Not all of them, but there will be a part of them that you will lose, and these ones you will have to fire them. The ones that you can re-engage again, obviously you keep them, because talent is so difficult to get, but obviously this is the company's fault, and because they hire people without being ready. The number one objective of the company is actually to build the processes to get people on board, to build processes to get people engaged, and to build process to so that people are comfortable, they know what they have to do, and they're ready to work. The bottom line is that sometimes even if you make mistakes, yeah,
you're back. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You have to go fire someone. That's what happened. You're like, let me have a call to fire someone.
I have to fire my husband. we're exactly on the same page, like the only thing is that the reality of doing things not professionally is that sometimes, who pays for that is the employees.
Can you give us an example of when you've seen engagement done well in startups? Take your time.
Never. I never seen it. It doesn't.
Of course, I've seen it, and I've seen it in a very small, startups as well that nobody knows, and I've seen them with a lot of engagement, and even if they don't make money, nobody makes salaries. You see them, totally, on board with that. For example, a very small startup, here in Spain. It's called the Corpora. We had them in Scale's offices for some time, when I was directing Scale here. And you could see that they really had a great system in place, that even they were a very small team, but everybody was very engaged. All the processes were done, and you could feel, that even if because in the past, they had, maybe some, that they needed some financing or some investment, even if there was struggles, people would definitely stick around because of the project, because of the leaders, because at the end of the day, it's all about people. It's all about people. If the leader can really convince you, engage, to make love the project and to provide you also a future with that, because if you don't see yourself being part of that and also being able to leverage the future success of that company in the future, why are you there? So if at some point, you know that this is going to go well and, you're going to have, some part of that or something like this, then it's when it's worth it. I think that then it's when you really are able to engage people well. I was not involved with so I don't know firsthand, the case of Privalia here in Spain, but it's one of the known companies. But I heard, because I know some of the investors, that, at the beginning when they had to hire so many people, it was kind of like a little bit of a chaos, because you can imagine hiring 20, 30 people a month, everything it goes chaotic. But at the end of the day, they build great processes and people was very engaged. It's one of the examples that maybe one of the brands that maybe people will know.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Once again, if you would like to support our show, please subscribe to our channel, like us, or share this episode on your social media. Merci.